market is up 11 points, so definitely the tide is turning, or is it just another sort of an aberration ahead of the end of results season?
Well, of course, it's been driven by end of the earnings season. Barclays turned up well. We're seeing Mumias also rebounding, possibly because of it's a pretty good stock right now. It's trading at very low multiples. So bargain investors are looking, bargain hunters are looking for the stock. So you've got quite a bit of dynamics going on. Although we saw quite a number of shares turning downward as well.
Obviously, the commercials have been the drivers of the NSE recently, and just today they've moved 13 million shares, which account for about 57% of market activity today. What is it that investors are so positive about?
Well, again, earnings season, going by what Barclays have announced today, and the good is that BOC and cables have handed out, and Barclays as well today. I mean, there's every reason to be optimistic of what the companies are throwing at investors, and that's keeping people in the game.
Obviously, Barclays with good results coming out today. They've moved about 1 million shares, trading in the region of about 67 shillings, even up as much as 72 shillings sometime during today's trade. The major thing that Barclays did in the last year was to sell off its custody business. What else is cash generating for Barclays? What's their growth strategy going forward?
With factoring in the sale of the custody business, the earnings were up by about 50%. Net of taxes, but if you factor that out, they grew by about 30%, which is well within probably expectations. So I don't know what to make much of Barclays because again they're also changing their IT system, which perhaps may have slowed them down a bit and also forced them to restructure their business. But going forward, I think they are well placed to take advantage of the trading environment with the new trading system, and therefore they should be well placed to move forward faster and better.
Obviously, also in the headlines today, Johnson, you would have heard us talking about housing finance, and last week there was talk of some sort of collaboration in terms of the issuance of bonds with the CBK, and this speaks to the very urgent need for construction and residential housing in Kenya and basically in East Africa. Too much demand, not enough supply, and also the need for banks to start financing mortgage financiers because a lot of the credit issued is not going into this particular sector.
Well, up until probably last year, banks were not very generally into lending in real estate sector, and that's because there were regulatory caps on it. But the Minister of Finance, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, eased some of those caps so that now banks can lend more, and we're seeing some sort of boom in the real estate industry. I think this is probably going to be, if 2011 turns out to be a year of growth for the real estate sector, probably it will be maybe third, maybe fourth year of real estate growth. But of course, the new capital coming into it will probably see more growth in that sector as well.
What do you expect for the NSE going forward, just by way of the growth of the stock market, the valuation of companies?
I'm not very optimistic, and largely because of inflation risk, and that should push up interest rate risk and force valuations to change midstream, so that with high interest rates that pairs valuation, and also might have you might see more investors forcing to cut down what they invest just to meet their day-to-day cost of living. Of course, this may all be as a result of what is going on in North Africa, because Kenya is a huge importer of oil, that's one of the reasons why Kenya is a net import market. So I mean, the current account deficit expected to grow larger, that might force us to readjust the way we're doing things right now. Government is also probably going to be driven into austerity as well. So that removes the reason for optimism. But however, we saw some economic growth coming through last year. The momentum should drive us forward this year as well. Right. So a mixed picture. I think we'll have to see how that plays out.